We are, we're in our, we are in our last lesson in Revelation. Hal's making fun of me. You see that?
You need a cough drop? I've got some.
It wouldn't hurt.
Want some of my coffee?
Thank you. Ben's bringing my cup of coffee out in just a second. I'm making it.
Bring some.
It's hard because I don't talk all day hardly at all, and then this. Anyway, I was about ready to call off church a while ago. You know. There you go. Okay, so anyway, starting next week, I think we're going to look at the missionary journeys of Paul. Since I was just there and studying that, I would like to go through them. It really, there's not tons of stuff about the missionary journeys. It's really not. Paul was there, he studied, he converted this person, and then he moved to this city, and Paul was there, and then for a year and a half, and then he moved. So it's not as much in that as it will be when then we move to the letters he wrote. And I learned something. How many missionary journeys did Paul take? 3. 4. We all say 3, and there are only 3 expressly mentioned. But apparently, when he got out of prison in Rome, they're really sure now that he went on a 4th. He got out of prison for a short time, and then went back to Rome. Thank you, son. So, anyway, yeah, I hadn't heard that before, and most of us on the trip, all of us preachers were like, what? And he said, it's kind of a new thought. Again, it doesn't say it. Doesn't matter. Don't know if it's true or not. Okay, so, Jesus is returning. John ends the book of Revelation with the culmination of the whole book. He's coming back. Does anything else matter as compared to that statement? Nothing does. None of it matters compared to saying, I'm coming back. And when I come back, I'm going to take you with me, which is what Jesus said earlier. So he says, and remember, when John is talking in the first person, it's Jesus talking, not John. So he says, look, I am coming soon. My reward is with me. I will give each person according to what they have done. Revelation 22:12. So we're in 22 tonight. So, let me back up. Think of a time when you were waiting for somebody to return from a journey. What was your feeling?
Anticipation.
Anticipation. What else?
Hope.
Hope.
Joy.
Yeah. Libby?
Worry, oh, I hope they're okay.
So Alice and I were married here in July, down the street. We were married, and then I shipped out about August, and she couldn't join me until almost December. We were newlyweds. We had a month together, or 2. And it was funny because she thought I would be waiting at the gate. But she had to go through customs, and passport control. And so when she went through this double door out of customs and saw me, she starts bawling. It's like, why are you crying? You were supposed to be at the gate. I didn't know, and I'm in a foreign country, and they're talking weird. So, it was that she had her expectation that her journey was over there. But then when you got another 30 minutes to go, it's a huge letdown. So that's what Jesus is telling us through John. There needs to be an expectation, an excitement about it. So it's, I don't know what's more difficult. Waiting for somebody to arrive at a destination or waiting for someone special to arrive. I mean, if you're waiting for somebody to be there a long time, you just build all this up. So we got this final scene in John's vision. Got this clear river that's running from the throne of God into the New Jerusalem. It says the tree of life grows on its banks. And we see that what had once been forbidden to humankind in the garden is now available for everyone. He's telling us the curse is removed. Let's say that the garden is real in heaven. That it's not just an analogy. The removal of the curse does what to that garden?
Opens it back up, right?
It opens it back up. What else? What's it give us access to?
Tree of life.
Tree of life.
Relationship to God directly.
Relationship with God directly. But I want you to think in everyday terms. Everybody's plowing, disking right now. One of the reasons they do that is for weed control as well, and to keep their, what do they call those little waterways good. And will they need any of that in heaven? No, because once the curse is lifted, what happens? The bugs go away, and so do the weeds, right? Now, I really do believe it's an analogy for what's up there, but still, it's that idea that it's been made whole again. See, when we broke relationship with God, we shattered it. It's made whole again in heaven. Right now, it's an on again, off again love affair with God for us. We're humans. In heaven, it's complete unity.
Yeah. I was just thinking, John 14, he says, I go away to prepare a place for you, and I will come again. And I'm thinking, to come again, in a sense, through Revelation 22 is just reinforcing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a number of years between those two.
And again, Revelation is drawing the analogy to the destruction of Jerusalem, the destruction of the Roman Empire, and him coming again. Remember, and I don't remember all the names, I'll have to study it, but we heard about the fact that the splitting of the Roman Empire after the death of Jesus was a great thing for Christianity, because we now had different emperors, and we had some that were very pro-Christianity, which allowed it to grow. Anyway, so Jesus' amazing document here is called the Revelation of Jesus Christ. That's the opening line of the book. But there's more to think about here. There's more content here than just that. It's a collection of things that Jesus revealed because he wants us to know these things. Is there a difference in what you know about a person after you've gone out on a date or two and after you've been married 40, 50 years? If you say no, then we got a problem. I've got a time slot open tomorrow afternoon. I think about the first time I came to church here with Allison. It was November of about 82, I think it was. And I met LaKinda, and I met the Harbachs and all that. But I'm not good at meeting people first time. So I really didn't get to know anybody. Allison's dad's not either. He avoided me the entire weekend. I would see him walk by the window at their house and go. I said, is your dad ever going to say hi to me? She goes, probably not. But now, 40 years later, I know most everything about Bruce and Karen. Business end of it, the financial, the taking care of the, I know LaKinda so well. Well enough that our joke that we would get married if Allison ever died, no, we know each other too well now. We ain't getting married. But we've all grown in this intimacy, and that's what the Revelation's about. We've revealed all the things, so now we know each other so well that there can be an intimacy that other people can't have. So, if this book had been named anything different, the other title would have been Return of Christ. not just a revelation of Jesus Christ, the anticipated return of Jesus Christ. So, someone read for me, I'm not going to. Verses 11 through 17, if you would.
Let the one who is doing harm continue to do harm. Let the one who is vile continue to be vile. Let the one who is righteous continue to live righteously. Let the one who is holy continue to be holy. Look, I'm coming soon, bringing my reward with me to repay all people according to their deeds.
Okay, stop. I'm gonna do it like some of the black churches I've been. Let's go back right now. You know, stop the reader for 20 times here. When he says, let the ones doing harm continue to do harm, I mean, this is bad things. We being vile, just be vile. The one who's righteous, be righteous. What is that saying?
People will be doing what they're going to be doing as they do it.
That's right. They're going to do that right up to the last day. And so what he's saying is, when I come that last day, what? I'm going to judge you based on what you did, but you do what you want. We do that as parents. We'll say, that's really probably a bad idea. But you go ahead and, as my grandfather said, but you go ahead and stick that penny in that socket if you want to. But it's a bad idea. And y'all know I did it, and I'm still doing it today. But yeah, we do that. And Jesus is doing that. He said, you do you. It's a bad idea. I got a better idea. But in the end, you do you. Okay, go. Oh, Mike, go ahead and start 12.
Start at 12 again. Okay. Look, I'm coming soon, bringing my reward with me to repay all people according to their deeds. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. You want to keep going? All right. Blessed are those who wash their robes, so that they will have the right to the tree of life, and may enter the city by the gates. Outside are the dogs, the sorcerers, the sexually immoral persons, the murderers, the idolaters, and everyone who loves and practices lying. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you of these things for the churches. I am the root, the descendant of David, the bright morning star. The Spirit and the bride say, come. And let the one who hears say, come. And let the one who is thirsty come. Let the one who desires take the water of life without cost.
Okay. So what is the reason Jesus says he's coming back? There is only one reason for him to come back to earth again.
Verse 12 says, according to what you've done.
Render. That is not that's not a complete sentence. Make that a complete sentence or a complete thought.
What a render.
He is coming back to
Bring this with you.
reward. Well, render. Harbox used to render their own lard. It would separate it, clean it. You know, it cleans it, separates the oils and stuff like that, and then hardens it. Jesus is going to render the fat. There's going to be the good. There's going to be the bad. He's going to get rid of the bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And one other thought is, well, I can't do anything to work my way into heaven. Which somebody say, well, that's contradictory to what he's saying, but we're expected to be faithful workers in the kingdom.
Yes. Yeah. When you have these discussions with Southern Baptists, but you see, you Church of Christ, you think you can earn your way by getting baptized. No. We're obedient when we're baptized. And I will agree with the statement. It's an outward show of faith. It is. Ben?
The other day, I was doing some work in the yard, and Declan came out to help me. I didn't need his help. Kind of slowed me down. He didn't get much done on his own, but it's that attitude of working. Even though you can't do it on your own, you're still willing to do it. You're putting out the effort.
I always tell people, too, you can definitely work your way out of heaven if you want to do that. Yeah. So, Monday, I called Allison. We always have this conversation. you know, if you got a late visitor or class or anything, because, you know, a lot of times we believe she may be there till 7:30 or something. And with either my board stuff or camp board stuff, whatever I may be. So I just called her and I said, you know, you got anything? Well, not too late. I should be home by 5:30. I said, okay, I'll fix supper. You know, I said, or do you want this for supper? Okay. Do I have to do the work? No, I don't have to.
To fix supper, you have to do the work.
No, I could call DoorDash.
Oh, okay.
My next door neighbor calls DoorDash for a cup of coffee in the morning. She does. Almost every day you see them come bring 1 cup of McDonald's coffee.
Crazy.
But anyway, that's lazy. But anyway, I don't have to do it. See, that's the point. I don't have to do it. Why do I, Chloe, why do I choose to do that for her? Because I love her. And because if I have to work late, I want to eat when I get home, so I know she's going to do it for me. You know, even if it's just frozen pizza in the oven, at least when you get home and you're hungry, it's done. You're ready. And that's the point. Because I love him, I will do the work. It doesn't get me any special favors. It says, I love you. And he deserves that. Okay. Look at some of the names here he's got. The Alpha and the Omega. Offspring of David. Morning Star. So, do I have those? So what is Alpha and Omega?
Beginning and the end.
Beginning and the end. In the Koine Greek, the biblical Greek, it is the first letter and the last letter. They're to us it looks weird, their alphabet, but it's very expressive. I mean, you say the word omega, then you know you're going to pronounce the O sound. You know, you see the theta symbol, you're going to say th sound. So it's very expressive. But I'm the beginning of all things, and I'm the end of all things. What about offspring of David?
Prophecy fulfilled.
I think I've got more about this later. I sure hope I do, because I know I typed it in today. Well, I'll go ahead and go ahead, JC.
One of the significance of it being the offspring of David is because he's our high priest.
So, Jesus is the creator of David, correct? He chose him. He crowned him. Now he's the child of David. Offspring of David. And then when he goes back to heaven, he will be the God of David. I was talking to the guys that work at Believe for me, and I was doing something one day, and he goes, I mean, whatever you think. And I said, no, you tell me what to do. See, there's one role in which I'm the boss. There's another role when I serve them and do for them. Allison, on board meeting nights, she's the boss. Every other day, she's the employee. When she's doing a class, she's director of education. And we were talking about it, and I said, look, mature people can handle changes in roles. I said, at church. I said, I'm an elder. But when I'm the preacher, I'm subservient to the other elders. Mature people can handle these differences of jobs and positions. Immature people can't. Immature people just can't deal with it. So that's what he is to David. He says, hey, I'm David's creator, but I'm David's child. Again, beginning and the end, right? Morning star. Anybody know where in the Bible you find the term morning star? What, Karen?
I'm thinking of the song, Bright Morning Star.
We see it at one point talking about Satan. He was the morning star. He was beautiful. That's back in Daniel. What? No. But here we see, have you ever been out? If you deer hunt, you really see this. You go out deer hunting, what is the first bright light in the star you see, in the sky you see? It's that morning star. It's one of the planets. Which one is it?
Mercury or Venus.
Yeah. But you see that, and it's right before the sun comes up. And it's beautiful out there, because the other stars are going because the sun's starting to come to the zenith. and it's blocking those out, but that one shines through if it's a clear night. And it's kind of beautiful. And it's really bright if it's a real clear night and you're way out away from things.
Jeff, it was that way this morning.
Was it?
Yeah. It was about 20 degrees above the eastern horizon before the sun came up.
By the way, if you go out, you might be able to see Northern Lights tonight. They're supposed to be down this far. Anyway, okay. So what does it mean that Jesus will reward each person according to what they have done? Missy? I saw you look away, so that's why I did it. Okay, I'll be nice. Carl just did, but it's not.
He does what he said, and I said, oh, my.
Somebody turn to Romans 2, 7 and 8, please, and read that for us. For those watching on video, I'm sorry, online, I know I'm just destroying the sound. You know, even Bob will tell you, people that walk up and test a microphone like this make sound me so mad. People that cough into a voice mic just makes them just as mad. 7 and 8, someone please. Hal, you got it?
To those who by patience and well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, he will give eternal life. But for those who are self-seeking and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, there will be wrath and fury.
So he's going to judge you based on what you've done, not what you haven't done. Although not doing is also a sin at times. Again, what's the old...
Most of us, or what you intend to do doesn't make any difference.
Growing up, I just remember everybody saying that prayer. And the Lord forgives us of those sins of commission and omission. Well, same thing. What does Jesus mean when he says, blessed are those who wash their robes, that they may have the right to the tree of life and go through the gates, verse 14?
Baptism. Sins have been washed away, and receive the crown of life.
You know, it's interesting because here and also in Revelation, when we look at it, this is one of the places that talks about having the right to the tree of life. You know, it doesn't say a lot about your rights as a Christian, but it says that when you get to this point, you have the right to the tree of life. And in our society, that's a big deal.
When we got ready to go on the cruise, 2 weeks is a long cruise, and you don't want to pack enough clothes for 2 weeks, new outfit every day. So somebody in our little Facebook groups came out and said, there is a product called laundry sheets. And you pull this laundry sheet out, drop it in the sink with water, and it dissolves immediately into soapy water. And so Allison washed a few things like that. It actually worked. Unfortunately, in a tiny little bathroom on a cruise ship, it took 3 days to dry, but it still worked. We do it to get things clean. What do we do to get our sins clean? How about Acts 22:16? That's a great one. What are you waiting for? Get up and be baptized and have your sins washed away, calling on the name of the Lord, right? Get up, be baptized. That's one thing you see throughout the New Testament that bugs me when people say, well, I'll get baptized, next year at camp, or I will get baptized someday. But for now, I'm saved because I believe. Look, if we talk about doing something by example, what is the predominant example in the New Testament? As soon as they believed, they were baptized. They happen together.
So that's referring to obedience,
Mm-hmm.
like you stated earlier.
Right. So if Jesus says you've got the right, Hal, he also says some don't have the right. Y'all, do they still do this in school? They still call each other dog?
No.
I hate that. That was really popular for like, hey dog. A dog has no morals. a dog sniffs hind ends to say hi, I want to be called a dog. You know, the dogs are, if you look at the Greek word that's used here, it's pharmakos. Yes, that's the root of pharmaceuticals, by the way, if you want to compare it with bad things. But it means sorcerers, because they used to think medicine was sorcery in the old days. But he says the sexually immoral, murderers, idol worship. Good thing we don't worship idols in this country anymore, do we?
Turn on my TV.
Huh?
Let me turn on my TV.
Yeah, we do. An idol is anything that what?
Focus.
Takes the place of God.
Yes. Anything in your life that you do that takes the place of God is an idol. And all who love to live a life. So the benefits of eating and drinking for the tree. Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I want to go back to the reward thing that I've been thinking about. He'll reward you for what you've done and have not done. Is that really a reward if you won't go to heaven? When we think of reward, it's I'm rewarded to be with Jesus, but it's not a reward if I'm not with Jesus. That's an exclusion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what I'm a little stuck.
Okay, I'm not understanding what you're stuck on.
The reward, he'll reward you for, you're going to be rewarded if you go to heaven or not. That's not really a reward if you don't go to heaven, is what I'm saying.
He rewards you if you have the right to enter heaven.
Right, because that was the wording. You'll be rewarded with what you've done.
But if there's certain
No,
cases, it fits.
well, it's saying you'll be judged by what you've done. You will reap what you sowed. You're not rewarded by not doing the thing.
I'm going back to what was up there.
Where? You got me confused.
Well, I don't want to confuse you.
Well, I know I'm not thinking great.
See,
Oh,
we will reward you for what?
I see what you're saying.
Yes, that,
Mhm.
according to what they've done. But
I don't know
But
if I agree.
also it's saying you're rewarded by being with him.
Well, obviously, there's no reward for being sinner.
Right.
Well,
You'll be excluded from heaven.
I mean, with our kids, they're rewarded for doing good, but then they get a reward if they're not. They get a spanking or stand in the corner or have a timeout or.
Let's think about Santa Claus, because we all believe in Santa Claus. Does everyone, good or bad, according to the old books, does everyone, good or bad, get a present?
Yes.
Good kids get what?
Yes.
Toy.
Bad kids get
Coal.
a lump of coal in their stocking. I came from the South where we really got stockings. You people are weird. We got nuts and oranges, and it was wonderful. Allison got so mad first time she dumped my stocking out and she had nuts. What is this? We get presents in our stocking. No, you don't. You get fruit and nuts. Because we're poor people. That was a good thing. Now, you're still getting your present. You just deserve a bad present. You're still getting rewarded. You deserve the reward you just got, though. Your reward for the way you lived is hell. And again, Jeff's opinion here, as Paul would say, this is me. I truly believe heaven is indescribable joy. So it looks like this, because it's the best description I can give you. Hell, the separation from Christ and God, with the knowledge that they exist, with the knowledge that they're right there, is undescribable torment. It's not necessarily real fire. Separation from God is enough when you know there is a God. Again, rich man Lazarus, what was he doing on the other side? Looking across, wanting to be there.
One-way mirror.
There's a one, yes, very good analogy. Because people on the other side of the mirror don't know you're there. But you know what you just lost. That's why there's no tears in heaven, by the way. If you can't see and don't know what is gone now, you have no pain from it.
You know, if you think about it this way, of all the things that happen to us in life, you know, we get old, we lose our abilities and everything else. All that is a result because we were separated from the tree of life in the garden. And so when you look at it that way, and then you say, what does separation from God do to you? It's a very physical demonstration of what it means to you.
Speaking of, I'm just looking at my notes here. Speaking of false idols, AI is a big thing now. And there are people writing books and songs and sermons using AI. And I did it one day for fun just to see, and it wasn't horrible, the sermon was, it was just all fluff. But I am using voice transcription and AI to type it for me. But it's my thoughts. It's my, as I'm reading, I'm typing and doing that with my voice. So my notes here on this one said, what are the benefits? And I went, it came up originally, immorality and a life thinking you're a god. It's like, no, go back, backspace, fix that. So what are the benefits? Immortality and life with God. Not thinking I'm a god. Invitations are a great thing. That's kind of the point of today's lesson. Invitations are a great thing. I thought it was big stuff when I worked at the embassy in Paris. I got sort of invited to go to this party. I was working, but I was there. And I got my first taste of beluga caviar. Hey, that really is good. I don't know if it's worth $1,000 an ounce or something, or $10,000 an ounce, but it's good. All this stuff. It's kind of cool to be told I could come and be a guest there. You get casual things like a date, right? You want to go for coffee? You both know it's a date, but you don't want to call it a date yet because it's casual. Just want to get to know you. Or someone offering you a job. Or permanent ones like proposing marriage. It's supposed to be permanent. But all invitations are special. This is the most incredible invitation ever. Jesus is inviting you to be a part of. Excuse me. His favorite words are, if you look in Isaiah 1:18, come now, let's reason together. Though your sins are like scarlet, you shall be white as snow. How about Isaiah 55:1? If you thirst, come to the water. Invitation. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden. Invitation. Come to this wedding banquet. Matthew 22:4. Come follow me, and I'll send you out to fish for people. Matthew 4. Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink. John 7. So God is a God who invites us to things. God is a God who opens the door and waves his hand, pointing out, to the pilgrims, there's a full table. One second. That's like the old Saturday Night Live skit. I don't know if you know, back when I was in college. They would have a Jewish woman on and she'd be talking. And she'd say, I'm getting a little verklempt, which means sad. Talk amongst yourself. Topic will be, and she'd give them a topic to talk among themselves. So I got to wipe my nose. Talk among yourselves. Okay, anyway. So his invitation is not just for a meal. His invitation is for eternal life. It's come to my kingdom, take up residence, be my brother or sister, be adopted, in a tearless, painless, graveless, who can come? Who's allowed the invitation?
Everyone.
Everyone's given the invitation. They don't always accept it.
He's really invited you into the palace. If you got invited to somebody's house in a palace, you would be thrilled. And that's what you should feel, being invited into God's house with his family.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the invitation? So what invitation does he give to all people in this final passage? says, let all, or let the one,
Here,
actually, let the one who desires take from the water of life without cost, basically. Come and drink, it's yours, it's free. Come do it. What does his invitation portray about our God?
does not discriminate.
If someone invites you to their home for dinner, let's say, don't you feel an obligation to go? Especially if maybe they don't do it very often, you feel like, I really ought to say yes. We had a family, I've told this before, Ben was a little kid, had this family at our church in Georgia. They invited us to come to their house for dinner. And they weren't the cleanest people in the world. And they didn't have any money. I knew that. And so I said, oh, that'd be fun, but you know what? I'd love to take you out for lunch today. No, we've already started cooking. When somebody says they're already cooking Sunday lunch, what are you thinking?
Fried chicken.
Or roasted potatoes, because you can leave that sit in the crock pot, right, or soup. We had those bright red hot dogs that are $100 for $1 at Walmart. and canned chili, Hormel. I don't like either one of those at all. Did I eat? Because the invitation was special. They were going out of their way to invite us because of our work with the youth group and all. They wanted to do that for us. And so, was it still a special meal? Yes, it was. It was disgusting. But the meal time was special. You know, the family time for church was special. And so, God says, I'm making you a special invitation. If God's making it, we need to accept it. We have to accept it. Anybody that doesn't is just ignorant. I don't know how else to put it. They're not thinking right. Jesus says, I'm coming quickly. But why is it taking 2,000 years so far?
His timeline,
If none should perish.
There's the one. Let's look at that verse. 2 Peter 3, 8 and 9, someone. I don't have it up there, do I? No. 2 Peter 3, 8 and 9, yes. Oh,
Going
you'll
back to-
quote it? Okay, go for it.
Going back to the special meal, especially when people don't invite you very often, I thought about Bruce. For Veterans Day, you know, I was honoring Jerry with the picture on the wall, and I said, I'm gonna come pick up, the pictures on Friday. I said, I'm gonna take half day of school. And he told me, he goes, well, can you come for lunch? And I was so thrilled. I was like, yeah. And he goes, it's not gonna be fancy, but just come for lunch. And I really appreciated that. You know, I couldn't eat. I just went to the dentist, but they sent me away with a sandwich, and Karen went to the bakery and had special things. So it was neat.
Yeah. Who's got 2 Peter for me?
I do.
Okay, Mike.
8, 9. Okay. But do not let this one fact escape your notice, beloved, that with the Lord 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like 1 day. The Lord is not slow about his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not willing for any to perish, but for all to come to repentance.
First line. Do not let what escape you?
Not
this fact,
It's a fact that I'm not being slow, that I just don't want what? Anyone to perish. That's what Jesus is saying. That's what God is saying. I don't want anyone to perish. So it kind of makes you wonder, will he wait until the world is so bad there's no one left that will accept in the future? Can it get that bad? It did in the days of Noah. Every thought was sinful.
happened to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah. In what way does your life demonstrate that you believe he's coming back again? What are some of the things in your life that says, I know he's coming back?
Remain as faithful as possible, no matter what,
Faith.
whatever comes upon you.
it's not eat, drink, and be merry.
Abstinence from those things. What else? let's walk with him is what I had, the same thing. What else?
Praying.
Prayer life. Y'all got 3 of my 4. Be like Bruce. What else am I thinking of? And share him with other people. That's the other one. If someone out of the blue gave you $1 million, you'd probably tell somebody. Not family, but you tell other people. See, I saw you. I was thinking that. Yeah, I mean, we tell them if we got something really great. Why don't we tell about Jesus? Because it's really great. Worth more than $1 million. What reward do you want when he comes again? Heaven, yeah.
Standard.
So what do we have to change in order to be prepared for when he comes again? Because remember what he said about the thief? He said if a thief comes in and the landowner knows about it, he's going to do what? Be prepared. The thief comes unexpectedly. So God's going to come unexpectedly, so what do we have to do to be prepared? What do we have to change? Our behavior, our lifestyle, yeah. All right, we made it. Close enough.